folks. So, for those not in the know, something is going on YouTube. As of January 1st, it seems like a lot of rule changes are going to come into play. Some of those are sort of from YouTube, some of them are actually from the FTC. But this is all coming from the fact that YouTube got caught breaking a rule, and they've not only gotten fined a whole lot, but they are also cracking down on us. So it seems like this has to do with videos for kids, and I'm thinking, are paper computer games for kids? Probably fine, right? I mean, we don't have any bright animated characters over here. And this doesn't just apply to paper computer games, this goes beyond that. This is also the whole paper gaming community. And I think that this whole COPPA thing is not a good thing. And the paper game community and the PCG community is a perfect example of why. Recently, I'm kind of late to this party of talking about this whole COPPA thing, but recently COPPA has released a blog which says, don't worry if you're have stuff that's kid friendly but not necessarily directed only to kids, you're probably going to be fine. I'm a little skeptical about that because, they're not going to just say, self-report, and then they'll leave it at that. They're going to have algorithms checking, and algorithms can't tell the difference between a channel directed to kids and a channel that is only very friendly to kids, but also is directed to adults. And so how are they going to choose? So I think YouTube's track record on this hasn't been the greatest. They send algorithms after people, and even if it's completely unreasonable, they're like, I don't care, we're just going to crack down on you anyway. So I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but okay, let's say that is the case, right? Let's say that creators like Game Theory, like, Arlo, creators like that who make stuff that kids might want to watch, but who aren't necessarily directed to kids, let's say we're safe, they're only going to go for the channels that are specifically directed to kids. The thing about that is, I really don't like the way this is being handled by the FTC, because I don't think YouTube creators should be cracked down on at all. Because here's the thing. A lot of channels that are legitimately directed to kids are channels made by kids. And I think that's kind of a really good thing, that kids can make their own channels. They can, sort of express their creativity online in a way that their friends and all those people can interact with. And I think this is, in a weird way, this is a really interesting portion of human history, because this is the first time ever that kids have been able to produce their own content. Before this, a children's show is something made by adults. Always. You can't have it any other way. But on YouTube, for the first time, there's something that kids can watch when they're bored that's made by other kids, and that is totally different. That is, I think, is going to be empowering to kids. I think it's going to inspire their creativity, and I think the paper games community is a perfect example of that. Because this whole community wouldn't exist without a whole bunch of kids coming together and, making paper games and showing them to each other and encouraging each other, building on what the others have done, being inspired by each other's work. And yeah, clearly the community is not kids. Or it's not all kids. Some of them are kids, some of them are not kids. I'm not a kid. But I think a lot of them started as kids. And that's crucial here, right? I don't think there would be a paper games community if, when they were kids, a lot of these people, like IPGS, like KCOKT, hadn't been making videos. Now, a lot of them are older now. I know that, and some of them are sort of growing out of it. Some of them are like, okay, I'm older, but I'm still going to be making paper games like Flamespot. And, IPGS was the first one to point out that you don't have to be young to enjoy these games.
You're never too old to have fun and experience these games.
You can enjoy them at any age. And I think that's great. It's something you can kind of grow up with. It's something that kids can participate in, adults can participate in, everyone in between. Like, it's a community for whoever wants to do it. But it never would have gotten off its feet if it hadn't been for kids. Kids started this. And, I mean, my case is a little bit different. I started after I was sort of grown up, but I started making the games when I was a kid too, and I would have gotten so much further if I could have had YouTube when I was a kid to work on this stuff. This would have been amazing, and it would, like, we could have gotten so much further with our paper computer games if we've been doing YouTube this whole time. And okay, part of that is my fault because I didn't think of that before years ago until, you know, fairly recently. But if I had known about this when I was little and I'd been doing this, this would have been amazing for everybody. And I think that's a great thing for kids. And I think COPPA is kind of destroying that for no reason. Because see, here's the thing. Like, best case scenario, like, my channel might be fine. I don't know. That's a little bit risky. We're gonna see. I don't know if I'm gonna be okay. I might have to mark my channel as for kids, in which case that would basically be a death sentence for the channel. I might not. I don't know. But even if I am okay, I think this is a really bad thing for kids because it's basically going to destroy all the kids' channels. It turns off the comment sections of those channels. It turns off live chats and live stream videos. All sorts of things like that, you know, like, kids' channels, like, kids learn just like everyone learns by getting feedback on the stuff you do, and like, comments are a great way for that. And okay, I will grant that kids can be taken advantage of through the comment section. That is absolutely true. But I feel like the FTC's approach and YouTube's approach here is, okay, we want to protect the kids, so let's punish the kids for other people taking advantage of them. That seems like their approach. It's like, if you know, bad actors are collecting data on the kids, or well, really YouTube is collecting data on the kids, let's respond to that by punishing the kids. Because whose channels do you think are going to be definitely directed to kids? Whose channels do you think are going to definitely have to mark themselves that way? The kids' channels, right? And they're going to essentially be handed a death sentence. Like a channel marked for kids is going to have a lot of trouble growing. It's going to have a lot of trouble, you know, interacting with its audience. And some kids have made channels that have been really successful, and you know, that is great for them as they grow up. They you know, first of all, like, they can make some money, but secondly, they learn a lot about they learn a lot of skills. They can learn how to interact with other people and how to develop whatever it is they do. If they're an artist, they develop their art. If they're you know, an animator, they develop their animation. Whatever it is, you know, it's a great experience. And see, here's the thing. I don't understand how this is even gonna solve the problem that COPPA is trying to solve. I mean, COPPA is there to protect kids from having data, having their information about them collected without their consent or their parents' consent by a website like YouTube, right? And so that's what COPPA is there for. But I don't see how this is going to accomplish that, because here's what's going to happen, right? If you shut down all the, I mean, basically they'll shut down, or essentially shut down, all the channels that are directed to kids, which includes all the channels made by kids, probably. All those are going to shut down, right? Or at least be very, very limited. Then, kids are not going to stop watching YouTube. They're going to keep watching YouTube. Yeah, data is going to keep being collected on those kids, because the reason the data is being collected on the kids in the first place without their consent is because YouTube has been sort of turning a blind eye. I mean, technically you can't make an account on YouTube if you're under 13, but the kids all do, and they lie about their age, and YouTube knows that. They've always known that. They're turning a blind eye. They don't care. But that's what they're getting in trouble for, because they've been turning a blind eye, data is being collected on those kids as if they were adults. So that's the problem. But this crackdown is not really solving that, because the kids are still gonna watch YouTube. They're not gonna stop watching YouTube. they're just not going to be able to watch channels that are marked for kids anymore. They will, but not nearly as much. Those channels will be very hampered. So, assuming channels like Game Theory or whatever, like all the channels that are kid-friendly but not necessarily directed at kids, that's what the kids are going to watch. They're going to all flock to that. And so, which means data is still going to be collected on kids. Because by shutting down all the kid-friendly channels, kids are still watching YouTube. Their accounts are still, accounts that can have data collected on them. They're just going to be watching different things. They're not going to stop watching YouTube unless you shut down everything that could conceivably be appealing to kids. I mean, that's basically what they would have to do if they wanted to stop data collection this way, right? They would have to shut down everything that could conceivably be friendly to kids, which is what everyone was afraid of in the beginning. I don't think they're going to do that. That wouldn't be in their interest. I mean, that would hurt YouTube. The FTC doesn't want a whole thing on their hands. They don't want a whole lot of lawsuits one way or the other. I don't think they want to do that. Which means they're just going to sort of crack down on these kid-friendly channels, sort of making an example of them, and sort of blame, and then they can kind of say, oh, wash my hands of that. Well, we solved that problem. But you didn't solve the problem. The data is still being collected from the kids, but what you've done is, now you have punished the kids for it. You have hampered their fun and their creativity without solving the problem you were trying to solve. So, yeah, I don't get the point of that. Now, I should just say, I'm not a legal expert. I don't have a special insight into this any more than you guys do. So take what I'm saying here with a grain of salt. I could be totally misreading this or misunderstanding this. This is just me sort of putting together information from all the various sources that I've found. But I think this really applies to the paper game community, the PCG community, because, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, paper computer games are not just for kids, they're for everyone. I'm not a kid, Chris is not a kid. We still love playing these games, and I hope that plenty of adults do as well. But I think kids are an important part of this community, and I don't think we should punish them or shut down their channels to protect them. I don't think that's the way to protect them. I agree with the goals of COPPA. I think it is a good idea to try to protect the data of kids, but I don't think this is the way to do it. It doesn't seem very effective to me. If you guys think I'm wrong, please do let me know down in the comments. If I'm wrong, I want to know it. I don't want to, I don't want to just keep being deluded. So please do let me know. I'm not going to be offended if you disagree with me. But yeah, otherwise, if you guys want to take action, or if you want to tell the FTC what you think, please be civil. I left a link in the description below for how to participate in their public comments phase. They're taking public comments, so if you guys want to tell them anything, that could be a good thing. So yeah, so far I haven't labeled this channel as for kids because I don't think it's just for kids. I don't intend it to be directed just at kids. I want it to be for everyone, and I hope I don't get fined $42,000 per video for that. I hope that the FTC agrees with my assessment. But regardless, I don't think this settlement that they've reached is a good thing for kids. I don't think it's a good thing for the paper game or the PCG communities, and I don't think it's basically just good for kids on YouTube. I think it's a noble goal, but they're enforcing it the wrong way. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Thanks for watching, folks. I know this is not the kind of video I usually make. I don't really usually make policy videos like this, but this seems relevant to paper computer games, so I thought I would do it. And yeah, thanks for watching, folks.